Imagine waking up in the morning, your eyes slowly opening, and instead of gratitude for another day of life, your first thought is heavy. Why do I still feel empty? You have the bed, the food, the phone, maybe even the car and the job, yet the joy you thought all of this would bring is missing. Isn't it strange? We chase, we achieve, we collect and we display, but inside our chests, the storm of unhappiness still rages. Have you ever asked yourself why? What is it that makes us so restless, so unfulfilled, so desperate for something more? My beloved brothers and sisters, today we will uncover the real reason you are unhappy, and more importantly, how you can unlock the door to a happiness that no wealth, no human, and no material possession could ever provide. And as we begin this journey together, I ask you to open your heart. Let these words sink deep, not just as sound in your ears, but as light for your soul. If this reminder touches you, share it. Let others feel the same awakening. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not just to listen, but to remind yourself that life is too short to spend without reminders that bring you closer to the one who created you. Think for a moment about the invisible battles you fight each day. You wake up and almost immediately your mind begins racing. Deadlines, responsibilities, family matters, worries about the future. It is as though the moment your eyes open, the weight of the world is placed back upon your shoulders. And even before you brush your teeth or sip a glass of water, you already feel tired. Does that sound familiar? We live in an age where our minds rarely rest. Notifications, constant comparisons, endless streams of information. Our hearts are being pulled in 100 directions, and while our bodies may still be lying in bed, our thoughts are already running, sprinting, drowning us in anxieties. My brothers and sisters, this is one of the greatest thieves of happiness, the inability to silence the noise of the world and to reconnect with the quiet of our souls. Imagine a person standing in the middle of a crowded marketplace, surrounded by shouts, bargaining, laughter and chaos. He is shouting too, trying to make his voice heard, but it is drowned in the noise. This is your heart every day, crying for peace, crying for clarity, crying to be heard above the noise of your thoughts. But you drown it with more distractions, more comparisons, more scrolling, more chasing. And then at the end of the day you wonder, why am I not happy? Happiness, my dear brothers and sisters, cannot exist where there is no stillness. If your mind is a battlefield of constant what-ifs, regrets and comparisons, how can your heart ever taste peace? Many of us are prisoners of our own thoughts. We think happiness will come when the problems disappear. But problems never disappear. They only change form. What changes is your perspective, your connection to Allah, and your ability to surrender to what you cannot control. Consider this. How often do you lie awake at night, eyes wide open in the dark, replaying a conversation from earlier in the day? That one sentence someone said to you, that one mistake you made, that one worry about tomorrow. It circles in your mind like a restless bird refusing to land. Hours pass, and instead of sleeping, you are trapped in cycles of thought. This is the daily war that no one else sees. But here is the truth that most of us don't realize. Your unhappiness in those moments is not because of the event itself. It is because you allow your mind to magnify it. A small problem becomes a mountain. A single comment becomes a heavy wound. A possibility of failure tomorrow feels like a certainty today. And while your mind inflates these thoughts, your heart suffocates. Allah reminds us in the Quran that it is only through the remembrance of Him that hearts find peace. Not through overthinking, not through replaying scenarios, not through imagining 1,000 different outcomes. True tranquility is found when you remember that no matter how chaotic your mind feels, there is a master who has already written your story. There is a Lord who has already measured your provision. There is a Creator who knows tomorrow, so you don't need to destroy today by worrying about it. Now ask yourself, if you spent half the energy you use worrying and instead used it to make dua, to speak to Allah, to cry to Him, to place your fears in His hands, how much lighter would your soul feel? The problem is not always what you are facing. The problem is how you are carrying it. You carry it alone, and so it crushes you. Place it in the hands of Allah, and you will still walk through the storm, but your heart will be dry beneath His shade. And let me tell you something even deeper. Sometimes the unhappiness you feel is Allah's way of calling you back. Think about it. When life is smooth, when distractions are endless, when you feel entertained and comfortable, how often do you stop to turn to Him sincerely? But when your chest feels heavy, when your thoughts won't stop, when your heart is restless, that is when you fall to your knees and whisper, Ya Allah, help me. Could it be that your unhappiness is not a punishment, but a divine invitation to return to Him? As you reflect on this, remember, the first battlefield you must win is not outside. It is not in your workplace, it is not in your relationships, it is not in your bank account, it is in your mind and in your heart. And if you lose that war, no matter how much you achieve outside, you will remain unhappy inside. The real reason so many of us are unhappy is because we are fighting battles alone that were meant to be surrendered to Allah. We live as though we are in control, and when life proves that we are not, we break. But the believer who trusts that every outcome is already written finds peace, even in chaos. And this is where our journey begins. We have spoken about the silent war inside, but what about the storms that come from outside through people, expectations and relationships? For many, this is the second greatest cause of unhappiness. So much of our unhappiness, my beloved brothers and sisters, comes not from the world within us, but from the world around us, the people we interact with, the relationships we build, and the expectations that rise and fall like waves around our hearts. Think about it. How many of your sleepless nights have been caused by a broken promise, a harsh word, or a person you trusted letting you down? How often does the mood of your day depend entirely on how someone else treated you, or whether they acknowledged you, or whether they gave you the respect you hoped for? We live in a time where validation has become a currency. We post, we share, we wait for likes, comments and attention. And when it doesn't come, our hearts sink. We dress a certain way, we speak a certain way, we live in ways designed to impress people. Yet we rarely pause to ask, why do I crave their approval so deeply? And more importantly, why do I allow my happiness to be chained to their opinion of me? Let me tell you something powerful. People will never fill the emptiness in your chest. They are human just like you. They are imperfect, forgetful, and often consumed with their own struggles. And yet we expect them to treat us perfectly, to never disappoint us, to always understand us. Is it fair to place such a burden on another human being? You see, when you depend on people for happiness, you are building your palace on sand. One wave, one betrayal, one forgotten message, and the whole palace collapses. Think of how often you replay someone's words in your mind. Why did she say that to me? What did he mean by that? Why didn't they include me? Why did they ignore me? And before you realize it, hours or even days are stolen, not by what actually happened, but by the chains of your overthinking. My dear brothers and sisters, you cannot control what others say or do, but you can control what you allow into your heart. Allah has already warned us that people will hurt us, sometimes even those closest to us. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was hurt by his own tribe, betrayed by his own people, insulted by strangers. But did he let their words steal his peace? No. He placed his trust in Allah, and he taught us through his own example that your worth is never defined by people, it is defined by your Creator. Let me give you an image. Imagine you are holding a delicate glass cup full of water. You hand it to someone and say, please, be careful, this is my happiness, don't drop it. Now imagine that person is distracted, careless, maybe even clumsy. They drop the cup and it shatters. This is what happens when you hand your happiness to others. They may not mean to, but they will eventually let it fall. And when they do, you are the one left broken. But if you hand your happiness to Allah, the one who never forgets, never fails, never abandons, you will never fear it shattering again. So many marriages, friendships and families fall apart because we place impossible expectations on each other. We want people to read our minds, to understand our silence, to always choose us, to never make mistakes. And when they fail, as they inevitably will, we crumble. But what if instead we anchored our hearts to Allah first? What if we loved people sincerely but knew that only Allah can complete us? Then when people make mistakes, we forgive more easily because we know they were never meant to be perfect. Brothers and sisters, understand this. People can be a source of joy, yes. They can be a source of comfort, yes. But they should never be the foundation of your happiness. If you rely on them for peace, you will live in cycles of disappointment. But if you rely on Allah, you will find a peace so strong that even when people fail you, it does not shake you. And sometimes, the unhappiness we feel is not even from what people did to us, but from the roles we play in their lives. We exhaust ourselves trying to please everyone. We say yes when our hearts want to say no. We stretch ourselves thin, running in every direction, hoping to be liked, hoping to be appreciated. But my beloved listener, you were not created to be a people pleaser. You were created to be a servant of Allah. And the moment you stop chasing every human smile and start seeking the smile of your Lord, you will taste freedom. Think about it. How many prophets were rejected by their people? How many righteous men and women lived lives of solitude, misunderstood by those around them? Yet did that make them worthless? No. Their worth was written by Allah and their reward was secured by Him, not by the people who turned their backs. And so my brothers and sisters, if your unhappiness is tied to people, know this: people are part of your journey, but they are not your destination. Treat them well, love them sincerely, forgive their mistakes, but never hand them the keys to your happiness. Those keys belong only to Allah. But there is another force that often steals our joy, one that many of us chase endlessly, believing it will bring us peace, and that is wealth, money, and possessions. For countless souls, the pursuit of happiness has been reduced to numbers in a bank account, cars in a driveway, or clothes in a closet. My dear brothers and sisters, let us pause and reflect on how much of our lives are consumed by the pursuit of wealth. From the moment we are old enough to understand, we are told, study hard so you can get a good job, work long hours so you can earn more, save, invest, buy and spend. And somewhere deep inside we begin to believe that money is the gateway to happiness. But let me ask you honestly, if money truly brought happiness, then why are some of the wealthiest people in the world among the most restless, the most depressed, the most broken? We must understand something fundamental. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy contentment. It can buy a bed, but not sleep. It can buy food, but not appetite. It can buy medicine, but not health. It can buy entertainment, but not peace of mind. The illusion of wealth is that it promises happiness, but in reality it often multiplies stress. Because once you earn one amount, you begin chasing the next. Once you buy one item, you desire something newer, shinier, bigger. The heart never stops craving, and the cycle of wanting becomes endless. Think about the times you longed for something, maybe a new phone, a car, a house. You dreamed of it, you prayed for it, you worked for it, and the day you finally got it, your heart felt alive. But then weeks or months later, the excitement faded, and you found yourself craving the next thing. This is the trap of materialism. It gives you temporary highs but long-lasting emptiness. And if your happiness depends on those highs, then your life becomes an exhausting chase. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that if the son of Adam were given a valley full of gold, he would desire another one. Nothing fills the heart of a human being except the dust of the grave. These words are not just a saying, they are a mirror. Look at yourself. Look at your endless desires. Ask yourself, will there ever come a point when I will say I have enough? Or will I keep chasing until the grave ends the chase? Brothers and sisters, wealth is not evil. Islam does not teach us to despise money or to abandon the world completely. But Islam warns us against loving it so much that we forget the purpose of our existence. Wealth is meant to be a tool, not a master, a servant, not a god. And yet so many of us have enslaved our hearts to it. We measure our worth by how much we own, we judge others by what they wear, and we destroy our peace by comparing what we have with what others display. Imagine two people walking side by side. One is poor, carrying little, but his heart is full of trust in Allah. The other is wealthy, his pockets heavy with coins, but his heart is empty. Tell me, which one is richer? Which one sleeps at night with peace? Which one wakes in the morning with gratitude instead of anxiety? The one who trusts Allah is richer than the one who owns the whole world but lacks contentment. And let us be honest, wealth can even become a test of character. Some people, in their pursuit of money, lie, cheat and harm others. They sacrifice their health, their families, even their prayers just to earn more. And then they ask, why am I unhappy? The answer is simple. You cannot fill your soul with what was never meant to satisfy it. The soul craves Allah, remembrance, meaning and purpose. When you feed it only material things, it starves, no matter how full your bank account becomes. Think of the Quranic reminder, wealth and children are but adornments of this worldly life. But what truly remains with your Lord are righteous deeds. Your car will rust, your house will crumble, your bank account will one day be emptied when you leave this world. But the charity you gave, the prayers you performed, the kindness you showed, those will remain with you in your grave. Those will carry you into the hereafter. So where should your focus be? On collecting possessions that vanish, or on building treasures with Allah that endure forever? And remember, sometimes Allah withholds wealth from you, not because He is depriving you, but because He is protecting you. He knows that if He gave you too much, you might forget Him. He knows that if you had what you wanted, it might harm you. So He holds it back, not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. How many people begged for riches only to drown in their arrogance when they received them? How many prayed for success, but when it came, they abandoned the masjid, abandoned the Quran, abandoned Allah? So the next time you feel unhappy because of what you lack, pause, ask yourself, do I really lack happiness because I don't have enough money, or is it because I don't have enough gratitude? Wealth without gratitude is misery, but gratitude even with little transforms everything into abundance. And so, my brothers and sisters, we see another truth. Our unhappiness is not rooted in poverty or wealth, but in where we place our trust. If you trust money to bring you peace, you will always be disappointed. If you trust Allah to provide what you need, you will live in peace, whether your hands are full or empty. But there is more to this story, because beyond the struggles of the mind, beyond the wounds from people, beyond the traps of wealth, there is a higher truth, a spiritual awakening that transforms everything. And without it, no amount of effort will ever make you truly happy. There comes a point, my dear brothers and sisters, when you realize that the problem is not in your job, not in your relationships, not even in your wealth. The problem is deeper. It is spiritual, because even if you had the perfect job, the perfect spouse, the perfect bank account, you would still feel a restlessness in your heart if you are disconnected from your Creator. Imagine a bird. It has wings. It has the ability to fly, but instead it spends its life hopping on the ground, pecking at crumbs, never realizing that it was designed for the skies. This is the life of a human being who ignores their soul. You were created to know Allah, to worship Him, to find peace in His remembrance. And yet, many of us live chasing crumbs of this dunya, forgetting that our true design is for something far greater, for closeness to the one who gave us life. When you look around, you see people trying to escape unhappiness in every way possible. Some drown themselves in entertainment, watching hours of videos, movies and shows just to forget their pain. Others seek happiness in relationships, hoping that another human being will complete their heart. Some turn to substances, addictions, or even harmful habits, trying desperately to numb the emptiness inside. But nothing works. The void remains. Why? Because you are trying to fill a spiritual gap with material solutions, and that will never succeed. Allah tells us clearly, indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Notice that He did not say hearts find rest in money, in people, or in success. He said rest is in His remembrance. Because your soul was created by Him, and it will never be content until it returns to Him. Think about how your body works. When it is hungry, you feed it food, not dirt, not stones. When it is thirsty, you give it water, not fire, not smoke. In the same way, when your soul is hungry, you must feed it remembrance of Allah, not the false substitutes of this world. And if you ignore it, if you starve it, you will always feel unhappy no matter what else you achieve. Let me paint a scene for you. Imagine walking through a desert, the sun blazing above you, your lips dry, your throat parched. Every step feels heavier than the last. And suddenly in the distance you see water. You run desperate. But when you arrive, it is only a mirage, an illusion. How heartbreaking would that feel? This is the reality of chasing dunya for happiness. It looks like it will quench your thirst, but when you finally arrive, you find it empty. True water, true relief is only found in Allah. My brothers and sisters, unhappiness is often a symptom of distance from Allah. Think about the times you felt closest to Him, perhaps in Ramadan, in the last third of the night, in sujood, in moments of tears during dua. Didn't your heart feel light? Didn't your soul feel alive? Compare that to the times you were distracted, neglectful of prayer, drowned in worldly concerns. Didn't your heart feel heavy, restless, unhappy? The difference is clear. And sometimes we think turning back to Allah will solve all our problems instantly. But the truth is, turning back to Allah does not remove every hardship. It transforms how you carry it. Without Allah, a problem feels like a mountain crushing you. With Allah, the same problem becomes a test that elevates you. Without Allah, a loss feels like the end. With Allah, a loss becomes a door to patience, and patience becomes a path to paradise. Let us reflect on the wisdom behind trials. Why does Allah allow us to feel unhappiness? Why does He allow us to feel emptiness, sadness, and longing? Perhaps because if life were perfect, if we never felt pain, we would never turn to Him. The difficulty of this dunya is a reminder that this world is not Jannah. You are not meant to feel perfect happiness here. You are meant to feel glimpses of it when you connect with Allah. But the complete happiness, the eternal happiness, is reserved for the hereafter. Brothers and sisters, true joy comes when you surrender. When you say, Ya Allah, I do not control this life. I do not know what tomorrow brings. But I trust you. I trust that what you have written for me is better than what I could write for myself. This surrender is not weakness, it is strength. Because you are placing your heart in the care of the most merciful, the all-knowing, the one who never makes mistakes. And I ask you, how much lighter would you feel if you stopped fighting Allah's decree and started trusting it? How much happier would you be if you stopped comparing your life to others and started focusing on your own path to Him? How much peace would fill your heart if instead of clinging to temporary moments, you attached your soul to the eternal? This is the awakening we all need. The realization that happiness is not something we chase in the dunya, it is something we cultivate in our hearts through trust, gratitude, and remembrance of Allah. And yet there is an even higher perspective we must reach. Because this life, as fleeting as it is not the end of the story. Beyond this dunya lies the ultimate reality, the eternal destination. And until you see your life through the lens of the hereafter, you will never understand the full picture of happiness. Everything we have spoken about so far, the battles in your mind, the struggles with people, the chase for wealth, and even the awakening of your soul leads to this ultimate realization: this life is temporary. No matter how much happiness or sadness you feel here, it will all fade. The true and everlasting happiness is not in this world but in the hereafter. Think about how short this life truly is. How many years have already passed you by? Childhood felt like a dream. Youth slipped through your fingers. Even now, the days and months rush forward like water pouring through your hands. One day your name will be spoken in the past tense. One day your bed will be empty, your phone will stop ringing, and your soul will stand before Allah. In that moment, will you regret the time you spent chasing happiness in the wrong places? Or will you smile because you used this fleeting world to invest in eternal joy? Allah reminds us again and again in the Quran that this dunya is nothing but a passing enjoyment, a deception, a test. But the hereafter, that is where life truly begins. Imagine it, a place where no sadness ever touches your heart again, where you never wake up with anxiety, where you never worry about losing anything you love, a place where every desire is fulfilled, every wound is healed, every tear is replaced with eternal joy. Can you imagine the relief? Can you imagine the peace? That is Jannah. And do you know what is more beautiful than Jannah itself? It is the pleasure of Allah. The moment He says to you, I am pleased with you, I will never be angry with you again. That moment is the ultimate happiness. Because then you will know that your striving, your patience, your prayers, your tears, they were all worth it. But here is the reality that we often forget: happiness in the hereafter is built today. The smile you want on the day of judgment depends on the choices you make now. Every prayer you perform, every sin you leave, every act of kindness you give, it all builds your eternal home. And every time you neglect Allah, every time you chase this dunya at the cost of your deen, you are trading eternal joy for temporary crumbs. Brothers and sisters, remember this. Your unhappiness in this world is often Allah's reminder that this is not your true home. You were not created to be fully satisfied here. You were created to long for Him, to strive for Him, to prepare for the day when you meet Him. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us, be in this world as though you are a stranger or a traveler. A traveler never expects comfort on the road. A traveler keeps moving, knowing that their real destination lies ahead. So ask yourself, am I living like a traveler, or am I trying to build eternity in a place that was never meant to last? Every pain you endure here, every unhappiness you feel here, if you bear it with patience and trust in Allah, it becomes a light for you in the hereafter. Every tear you cry in sujood becomes a pearl in your eternal treasure. Every time you resist temptation, every time you choose faith over desire, You are planting seeds in a garden you will one day walk through in Jannah. And let me share with you a scene. Imagine standing on the day of judgment, terrified as your deeds are weighed. You fear the worst, your heart is trembling. And then by Allah's mercy, you are handed your book in your right hand. You look at it and you smile. You smile a smile greater than any smile you ever had in the dunya. And you say the words mentioned in the Quran, "Here, read my record. Indeed, I was certain that I would be meeting my account." In that moment, all the unhappiness of dunya will be forgotten, and only joy will remain. My dear brothers and sisters, true happiness is not about having a life without problems. True happiness is about living with problems, but never losing your trust in Allah. True happiness is not about collecting possessions. It is about collecting good deeds. True happiness is not about pleasing people. It is about pleasing your Creator. And the real reason you are unhappy is often because you are searching for eternal joy in a temporary world. So let us redirect our hearts. Let us live in this world, but not for this world. Let us work, earn, love and enjoy, but never forget that our final destination is beyond the grave. If you align your heart with Allah, if you live for the hereafter, you will taste peace even here, because your soul will know that every step is bringing you closer to the everlasting joy prepared for the believers. And so, my beloved listener, the next time you feel that heaviness in your chest, the next time you wonder why you are still unhappy, despite having so much, remind yourself your soul is not longing for more dunya. It is longing for its Creator. Turn back to Him, and you will find the happiness you have been searching for all along. Ya Allah, the most merciful, the one who knows what lies hidden in our hearts, we turn to you today with humility and with hope. We ask you, O Allah, to remove the burdens from our chests, to lighten the storms in our minds, and to replace our sadness with contentment. Ya Allah, grant us hearts that are attached to you, eyes that cry for you, and souls that long to meet you. O Allah, protect us from chasing happiness in places where it does not exist. Protect us from relying on people, wealth or status, and make us rely only upon you. Ya Allah, grant us peace in our homes, sincerity in our worship, and tranquility in our hearts. O Allah, when the world becomes heavy on us, remind us that you are always near. When people disappoint us, remind us that you never abandon us. When wealth fades, remind us that what is with you is everlasting. Ya Allah, forgive our sins, both those we remember and those we have forgotten. Accept our prayers, our efforts and our tears. And when our time in this world comes to an end, let our final words be, La ilaha illallah. Ya Allah, gather us under your shade on the day when there is no shade but yours. Make us among those who smile when they receive their record in their right hands. And grant us the greatest of all joys to see your noble face in paradise. Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen.